IATA, health insurance, and proof of fund, right? But I don't know if that still remains the course of event for today's section. Kuzan, is that what we'll be having today, please?
Oh, yes, sir. That's what we'll be having today. But a lot are pleading that we'll start with the proof of fund because they need more, and then insurance.
Okay.
Because they had a
Okay,
lot
that's
of, from the past class, the IATA was well explained, which they have watched from the previous lecture. So the proof of fund is what they are still not getting, and then insurance. Then we'll talk about the white label, and
okay.
then, yes, the e-visas. Thank you, sir.
Okay, that's fine. And so IATA won't be discussed in today's section. So without much ado, let's get talking about proof of funds because I think to some extent is the long awaiting topic. It's what everybody has been waiting for, both on the side of applicants, agents, or consultants. That has actually been the challenge. So what we'll be doing around proof of funds is I'm going to teach us how to calculate proof of funds because a few times, especially for visiting visas or business visas, we to some extent don't actually know how to go about them, especially for Schengen. And we are going to also look at, because the caption is proof of funds with zero deposit. So that actually spikes some sensation in our heart, like, okay, how can I get proof of funds without even depositing anything in my bank account? Sure, it's possible, it's feasible, and that is a new order. It's actually the new way of getting proof of funds these days. You don't have to start doing some monthly payments of 5%, 6%, 3, 10%, as the case may be. All of that has actually been cushioned. You can actually get that easy peasy without even having an equivalent of 10,000 US, and sorry, 10 US dollars equivalent in Nigerian naira in your bank account, and you still get to have all of those things well handled. So let's talk about proof of funds. I know the word proof of funds is actually suggesting that it's actually a document that validates the availability or the existence of funds in your account, as the case may be. So, but we'll be looking at proof of funds with zero deposits. But before we look at that, let's talk about calculating proof of funds. How do I know the requisite proof of funds that I need for a particular visa application or for a particular application that I am trying to make online or trying to put up at the time? So first now, let me now give a close now. When it comes to proof of funds, the following should be remembered. The following should be noted. One, the proof of funds that is needed is dependent on the visa type. Proof of funds that is needed is dependent on the visa type. And not all proof of funds require, not all applications you're making at the time require proof of funds, right? There are certain applications that doesn't require proof of funds. So all of that is going to come in. All of that is going to come in. Now, but before we look at that, let me just get to explain what proof of funds is. So when we talk about proof of funds, we are simply talking about a typical document demonstrating the availability of a particular amount of funds either in your bank accounts or either in your holdings or your purchases or your investments. So when we say proof of funds, there are different ways to actually establish proof of funds. Proof of funds is not only established on the side of you getting some bank statements, some sort of recent bank statement. That's actually some of the issues we have been having over time. When proof of fund comes to mind, what we always get to think of or what we always get to remember is bank statement. Am I right? For every time you remember proof of funds, what you get to remember is I need some bank statements. I have to get some bank statement here or bank statement there in order for me to actually get, in order for me to, to actually get to tender. But all of that is not the case. There are different ways you can establish proof of funds, and we are going to be looking at them shortly. A moment, please. Okay, Sorry, I just want to get my system up fully ready so I can project my screen. Okay, first and foremost, uh, we actually now know what proof of funds is, and there are different methods to actually establish proof of funds. The first is a bank statement. So when we get talk about bank statements, it's just a recent bank statement showing a certain amount of funds in your bank account, right? And this has to be consistent. Your so the first is bank statement. The second is investment account. Yeah, some of us don't know. You can still use your investment account. And when we talk about investment account, this is simply statement from your brokerage account or statement from your current holdings, as well as the values that all of these holdings actually gets to amount to at a particular time. So proof of funds is not just limited to bank statement. That should be established. The second, also, when we get to talk about proof of funds, your investment account can actually stand in for the proof of funds, not just necessarily your bank statement. And when I mean investment account is any form of account, any form of investment you have, either with a brokerage firm, share stocks, dividend, whatever investments you have, that can actually still come in as your proof of funds. It's not necessarily you having some financial figures in your bank as it applies in the case of the bank statement. Now, we also have what is known as line of credit. The line of credit is not feasible for the African market because in Africa, Africa is not a credit economy. What I get mean by credit economy at the time is you can't actually get credit loans easily from bank. But in the West here, you have access to line of credit. So sometimes when people in the West are trying to make application for proof of funds, they sometimes have to use their approved line of credit or a pre-approved loan or a letter from a financial institution on a loan approval to actually make application for their proof of funds. So first is proof of funds does not just entail your bank statement only. You can use your bank statement, you can use investment from, or an investment account can still come in, and that includes your statement from a brokerage account or from your current holdings with investors, as the case may be. Now, line of credit, that might not be so applicable for the African continent, but in the West and other part of the world where credit facilities are made readily available to individuals or citizens or account holders with certain bank or financial houses, that might actually come in. Now, we also have bank letters. Yeah, you don't necessarily, you could also get a letter stating your account balance and the availability of funds that can be used. These are still ways of establishing proof of funds, not necessarily getting your own personal bank statement. That's why I would say proof of funds with zero deposit. You can actually get a bank letter from your bank, and your bank will actually write on your behalf, establishing the fact that all that will be needed for you to successfully run the application will be made available with time. That could actually still come in. Now, proof of funds to some extent also could be in the form of assets. So if you have significant assets like properties, like vehicles, let's say automobile, or other form of investment, you can use the document for all of these things to see coming for your proof of funds. So that actually establishes the fact that you actually have a substantial amount of assets that could cushion for your trip if the need warrants you generating physical cash. So you could liquidate all of these assets and you could get physical cash with which you can use to spend. Now, in other part of the world where cryptocurrency is also allowed, you can get a statement or printout of your digital wallet balance. This can also work. This can also work. So in a bit, what this entails is, let's take for instance, in some part of the world, Nigeria, I do know there are restrictions to crypto and all, but some part of the world or some African nations where cryptocurrency is allowed, you can actually get a printout of your digital wallet balance, be it Ethereum coin, be it Bitcoin, be it USDT Tether, be it any kind of coin you're trading with at the time. You can actually get a bank statement. Sorry, you can get a printout or a statement of your digital wallet balance, and that could actually still suffices, or that could actually come in. And in that case, now you actually have all of those things well established. So when we did get to say the proof of funds with zero deposit, there are 100% feasibility that you can actually get a proof of funds without necessarily having to do with just your bank statement, as the case may be. So let me just cite a scenario. For instance, now, though I don't know if this is applicable, but in the West here, if you intend to buy a property, for instance, you can show a proof of funds without an initial deposit. And in a bit, some of those things can still be transferred to you. So this is how some of those things work. But I do understand in Africa, where we came from, all of that might not be applicable. So when we say proof of funds with zero deposit, there are 100% feasibilities. You can actually use your line of credit. You can use your proof of assets. You can use investment account from brokerage houses. You can use a letter from your bank. You can tell your bank to actually give you a bank letter validating your trip and the availability for you to cover all of these things. Now, the next is your proof of assets, your cryptocurrency holdings. All of these can still work and work so well. And with them, you can actually, you get stand a better chance. You get stand a better chance to actually have a substantial proof of funds. Now, let's move on to saying how to calculate proof of funds. How do I get to calculate proof of funds? Let's take, for instance, I'm making an XYZ application. What amount of proof of funds do I need? What amount of proof of funds do I need? So we are going to use the case study of Europe. We're going to use a case study of North America. In North America, we're going to be using Canada as our case study. And in Europe, we are going to use Germany as our case study. Now, if, for instance, I'm coming to Europe using the Schengen visa, how do I calculate my proof of funds? How do I know the necessitated amount I do need to actually get myself a proof of funds? Now, to calculate your proof of funds, this is how the maths is done. First, remember, when you make an application for a visiting visa, either be it for tourists, be it for conference or for business purposes, it is expected that first you are going to make what is known as the following. You're going to have a proof of your itinerary. Now, when we're talking about proof of your itinerary, we are simply talking about stuff like a verifiable flight ticket, which is also known as a dummy ticket. Previous classes before this one, when we're talking about your reservation, I did state that it would be unwise for you to actually make application for maybe while at the cost of making application and you go buy your flight ticket. That is unwise. That is not logical enough, because if your visa is denied or your visa is not approved, you might not get refunds for the flight ticket you just purchased. So it's advisable that if you are coming for, you want to get proof of itinerary for any visa application, especially the visiting visa application, it is expected that you get a dummy ticket. Now, for those who are joining, who did not participate in the last class, when we get talking about dummy ticket, we are simply talking about a verifiable ticket that is half the sum, or just a fraction of the true cost of the ticket is what you'll be paying. And in that case, now you'll be getting a verified ticket with a PNR, which you can check on the airline website and get to find out that the status is confirmed. That is what is known as dummy ticket. And I did say, before we'll be talking about the white label, where I'll get to explain, I did get to say the last few times that for you to get dummy ticket, you can't actually get that on your own, because what most persons do, the reason why so far in most cases is we use reservation, right? So when we go to about flight reservation, it's a scenario where you go to a particular flight OTA, let's say an online travel agency website or portal, and you get to make a reservation without paying, and you now get to get a PDF of that, and you're attaching it to your document. Your visa will not be granted, because the processing officer is going to check for the validity of that ticket. And when he gets to check on his system on the airline website, he's going to see payment status to be what? Pending. And that is another straight jacket to a denier. But in the case scenario where your proof of itineraries are all valid, for instance, you are trying to come to Germany, for instance, and you get a verifiable return ticket, right? For Germany, Lagos to Germany, and Germany back to Lagos. Let's say Lagos to Frankfurt in Germany, or Lagos to Berlin in Germany, and from Berlin or Frankfurt down to Lagos, and it's verifiable. That gives you edge. And for you to get that, all you need is what we call the dummy ticket, just like I stated earlier. Now, for those who actually have the white label, you can get that. And those who have actually put in for the IATA registration, if you got IATA license, you can get yourself a dummy ticket that is verifiable. You only get to pay a little fraction amount. And when the processing officer gets to check on the airline website, the status of the ticket is reading confirmed. So that is one thing to note. For you to calculate your proof of fund, the first is, what is the cost of your flight ticket? Let's say, for instance, I'm coming to Germany. A return ticket for Lagos to Frankfurt in Germany, let's say, is $1,000 for instance. Let's say it's $1,000 for instance. And $1,000 in Naira, let's say it's 1.5 million, also an instance, right? So it simply means 1.5 million will go for your ticket. So you should have that as part of the needed funds as for your proof of funds statement. Now, the next is, how many days are you going to be spending? Apparently, if you've got no family where that will be accommodating you, you'll be needing hotel, or you have to make some sort of hotel reservations. And it's still advisable that don't get to pay for a verified hotel. Don't pay for any hotel until your visa is confirmed. But because the processing officer will be checking the validity or the status of your hotel reservation, it's so advisable that you get a dummy hotel reservation. You get yourself a dummy hotel reservation, right? So let's say I'm coming to Frankfurt in Germany and I'll be spending 7 days. And it simply means I'll be staying in an hotel for the next 7 days. So these are you get to calculate your proof of funds. The total number of times you'll be staying in the hotel, let it 7 nights. And the total cost for staying in that hotel for 7 nights, let's say it's $500. And now let's do the math. Let's say $500 in Nigerian Naira. Let's say 600,000 Nigerian Naira. Remember, my flight ticket is 1.5 billion Nigerian Naira. My hotel reservation is 600,000 Nigerian Naira. And that makes it a total of 2.1 million Nigerian Naira, right? Now, the next thing to look out for is when you come into Europe, for instance, it is pre-believed that you should spend 70 euro per day. You see that? So 70 euro per day is your living expense in Europe. And that 70 euro accumulates, let's say, 100,000 Nigerian Naira. And since I'm staying for 7 days, it means I'll be spending 700,000 Nigerian Naira. And I got an initial expenses of 2.1 million, right? So what do I get to do next? So it becomes 2.1 plus 700,000 Nigerian Naira. So that accumulates to 2.8 million Nigerian Naira. And because you come in on a visit or business or conference, you need insurance, which we'll be looking at also. So it's pre-believed that what the cost of your insurance. For instance, if you get to buy a quota, or let's say the insurance package you are buying is 30,000 euro, for instance. That's the coverage of that insurance. So how much did you get to buy the insurance cover? Let's say the insurance cover was sold to you for 100 euro, for instance. And let's say 100 euro, let's say it's 100,000 Nigerian Naira. So you get to find out from this calculation that all you need to successfully come to the Schengen region is 2.8 million plus my 100,000 Naira now. So that amounts to 2.9 million. So now, if I'm coming to this region, going by this calculation, now it's expected that I should have a minimum of 2.9 million in my bank account, either as a bank statement, either as a cryptocurrency bank statement, either as a bank credit, line of credit from my credit facility house or bank or financial house, or either as a bank letter, or the worth of the asset whose document I'm actually putting in for should actually be equivalent to this amount. So that is how to go about the calculation. So if everything is 2.9 million, you can just make it all up by having maybe 3 million Nigerian Naira, 3.5 million Nigerian Naira, as the exchange rate might be at the time. So when you have this now, it is now established vis-a-vis that your proof of funds is guaranteed, right? So that is just how to go about the calculation for proof of funds, to know the necessitated amount of funds you need in your bank statement. Because in most cases, when you are making application for a visiting visa, be it tourist, be it conference or business, the needed amount that will be needed for your visit is usually not stated. Nobody gets to state that. Unlike studies, where if you are making an application for a study permit, a certain amount will be required of you. Okay, you need XYZ amount. You need 10,000 euro to study as a living proof of funds, and all that will cover for your accommodation, that will cover for your living expenses, and every phenomenons that will be coming alongside your application. But when it comes to basics, it is usually not calculated. It's usually not calculated. And so this is just how you go about the calculation. So what the processing officer will do, he gets to check the cost of your flight ticket, he gets to check your hotel reservation, he gets to look at your insurance, and also he gets to do a math of your living expense. So now you'll be accumulating more proof of funds. Now, the mistake we make over time is, for instance, you are applying for a Schengen visa, for instance, to Germany, and you know you'll be staying for the next 5 months now, and you want to be staying in a rented hotel. Do you know that will actually accumulate the sum? So what do you do to cut down these things? Most times, beats down your staying period. For instance, I'm to be in Germany for the next 5 months. If I get Schengen visa, I'll be staying in Germany for the next 5 months. So what do I do? At the point of application, I can only state that I'll be staying for just 3 days. Do you see that now? Once the visa is issued, nobody will check on me to actually get to see that I spent 3 days. Nobody
What's happening?
Oh, yeah,
Hello.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear.
Yes. Yes, we can hear
Okay,
you.
great. Now that's
Yes.
okay. Awesome, awesome.
yes.
So now I was giving an instance. For instance, I'm trying to make an application for Schengen visa, and I do know that I'll be staying for the next 5 months. I don't have to stay that at the time of my application. I'll just get to put 3 days so that I will not be needing so much proof. So the mistake we make over time is you want to stay for 5 months and you stated that in your application. So the process officer will check 70 times the number of days that are in 5 months times the cost of the hotel facility where you'll be staying for the next 5 months. So when you put all of that together and you just get a bank statement of equivalent 5 million Nigerian naira, you gotta find out with the proof of funds you are getting a denial right away. But fine, I do know I'll be staying. Only me know the number of time, the total number of days I'll be spending without breaching the visa rule of total stay of 6 months. Only I do know that. So all I need to do is I'll state 3 days so that even when I'm making my trip planner or making my trip itinerary, I'll have a shorter stay, and my trip plan will also be well concise and easy to be understood. And I'll have to spend less on hotel and facility as well as my living cost per day. So in that case, if I'll be spending 3 days and I just get an hotel for maybe 150 euro, for instance, and my flight ticket is 1.5 million equivalent Nigerian naira, that is on a return flight, and I just have 210 euro to spend within those 3 days. You gotta find out that my proof of fund will be less the cost. I don't need so much amount either in my bank statement, my cryptocurrency account, or my line of credit, or even my bank letter, or even the proof of asset I got to actually establish all of these things. So let's get to take this to heart. Even if you want to stay for a longer period, put shorter stay so that you don't get to have a volume, minutes amount of proof of funds. So that will wear you out, and the approving officer will look at all of those things and deny you access or deny you the visa. So that should also be what noted. So that is that for Germany, is the Schengen region. So for every time you make an application for the Schengen region, this is how to go about the application. Now, the disparity between that and Canada is just differences in the living wage. So now for Canada, the standard cost of living per day sorry, a moment. I just want to get something up. So now when it comes to Canada, the total cost of living per day is estimated for 100 Canadian dollars. This is just for one individual. So if it's a family of 5, it simply means everybody. It means you guys will be spending 500 Canadian dollars per day. So if it's a family of 2, that means 200 Canadian dollars, including if you got infants with you. It's believed that every human in Canada should live at least on a standard average of 100 Canadian dollars. So that is just the only input that I'll just be adding to this. So this is how to calculate your proof of funds. And lastly, before I get to stop talking about the proof of funds, let me also get to establish that, for instance, if you don't have any of those things, you don't have all of the things I stated earlier, for instance, like in the case where I get to say now, what are some of the ways you can get proof of funds with zero deposit? I mean, let's say you don't have a good bank statement, you don't have an investment account, you don't have line of credit, you don't have bank letters to support your application, and you don't have any proof of asset or cryptocurrency holdings. What else will you do? So what to do next is, if you don't have any of this thing, what you need to do at the time is, the only thing you get to do at the time is you'll need what is known as the sponsored account. So what is a sponsored account? A sponsored account is a business empire entity, an organization, a financial house who will now give you their own bank statement and give you supporting documents to actually back up that bank statement, establishing relationship while they are sponsoring your trip. So this is the new order, and that is the new trend. So in this case, you don't have to start accumulating or growing some funds in your bank account. You can use a pre-existing organization bank account as a sponsored account. For instance, if I'm traveling to Schengen, I don't have all of these ways of getting proof of funds I established earlier. All I need at the time is I can use a business account from any organization who is willing to give me support letter for sponsorship. Once you have a support letter for sponsorship, then their bank statement or whatever document they are given to validate the sponsorship or for the funds will now come in. So that will actually work. So that can also work at the time. That can also work at the time. So in that case now, we have less stress. So you don't have to start going all around trying to source for funds, trying to pick up funds and that. So in that case, we have less stress. And when that is in place, you can actually get less to the challenge. So that is just how to, that is how you can actually get through. Yeah. So now that is just how to go about proof of funds at the time. So if you are still thinking, how do I get to raise proof of funds? You to some extent have seen different channels or means or to raise proof of funds. So in that case now, hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
We are hearing you, just that
Okay,
it
great.
breaks.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, apologies to that. Yeah, so in the case where you don't have line of credit, you don't have investment account, you don't have bank statement, you don't have bank letters, no proof of asset at the time. And okay, obviously, cryptocurrency is not supported in Nigeria, but I do know it's supported in other African nations. So if you don't have a cryptocurrency holdings to actually get a printout of your digital wallet balance, then the last option, most susceptible and available for you without incurring any cost, is to get a support account. So if you can get a sponsored account, so that to some extent will actually help you. And in that case, now you have everything fully grounded with zero deposit. You can see when we get say zero deposit, that was actually zero deposit for real, because you don't have to start putting any funds in your bank account. You don't have to start trying to put up some amount at any point, so you can get a sponsored account. But now, most times, getting a sponsored account today comes at a slight fee, and it's usually one-off. For instance, we also do sponsored accounts. We use several financial houses in Nigeria, for instance, so those in Nigeria, and we use some well-registered, established businesses also in Nigeria, where we get to get support letters on behalf of the applicant, and we get to use their bank statements, and that also to some extent suffices. But the challenge at the time is it's just a one-off fee. So you pay that one-off. So it's not an idea where you have to start growing funds for 6 months simply because you want to make application in the next 6 months. So you start paying some 3%, 4%, 5%, depending on the proof of fund houses you are using. And it's worthy of note also now that don't ever get to think that the fact that you are growing an account also makes it eligible for it's susceptible accepted bank statement. For instance, if there are no transactions going in that same account, it may not be considered. Let's assume because okay, this January, for instance, I'll be traveling to UK in July. Then you just go open one new account or just get an account up. Then you now meet some proof of funds agencies or bodies. So they now put in some amount while you are servicing it with some percentage at the end of the month. Then you now allow the funds to stay for the next 6 months because you needed a 6-month bank statement. This won't work. The reason is because existing accounts is what is expected, and it should be an account where there are active transactions occurring on daily basis in that account. So don't get to think of an idea where you just set up one new account and just be moving funds because you want to travel in the next 6 months. That will not work. So if you can actually get any of those things, the last and the most applicable option to explore is sponsored accounts. So if you can get a financial house or you can get an existing business that can sponsor you and you then get to use their bank statement, then that becomes a big win. Eureka, you can go with that. If it's free, good luck. You don't have to pay a dime. They give you their bank statement. They give you sponsored documents, supporting documents to show relationship or tie with you, then that will also work. So in a bit now, I've actually established that as well as how to go about the calculation. So I think the very next thing we'll be looking up now is e-visas. Before we talk about, okay, let's talk about health insurance. Health insurance visa-based is not something so difficult. There are 1,001 health insurance, but the only clause I'll put when it comes to health insurance is, now this is how to go about health insurance. Every region, let's say every continent have the health insurance that works for them, or that is being needed, or that is being required. That's more reason why, if for instance, you're making an application to Europe, if you get to use health insurance policy or a cover that only works for North America, examples of those regions like the United States, and like Canada, that won't work. That will not work. So what is expected at the time is, if you actually want to make any of those applications, you should actually get to know what works for you. What works for you. So if you don't get to know the right health insurance package or body to use, then you stand a risk of losing it, because at the slightest of health insurance, as simple as health insurance could be, you could still be given what? A denial. And another thing to also look out for, your health insurance should cover the total number of stay. What do I mean? If you'll be saying
Hello.
Sorry, just the network. Just give him a minute.
can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Yes.
Yes.
You know.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Of
we
course.
can.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Clear
cannot
now.
hear you.
Yeah, when you are getting a particular health insurance,
The spirit.
okay, great. Now, great. When you are getting a particular health insurance, the following should be noted. Get insurance for the continent or region where you are going for or going to. Secondly, now, ensure your health insurance covers the total duration of your stay. Ensure your health insurance covers the total duration of your stay. And lastly, also now, don't get to collect health insurance from insurance houses within your locality. Yeah, for instance, several years ago, I do know someone who was actually trying to get Schengen visa and use it as a mansard. Now, health insurance here is simply traveling insurance. So that should be reiterated. Health insurance is traveling insurance. So I do understand some of these insurance companies within Africa or in your locality, yeah, do something related to health and all, but that is not what is needed. What is needed is traveling insurance. So the existing body you are trying to get insurance cover for should be able to give you proper coverage. Yeah, should be able to give you proper coverage in the region where you are. For instance, I'm actually going to the Scandinavian nations. As a Mansard doesn't have a coverage there, and you are carrying as a Mansard health insurance to the Scandinavians, it won't work. So the first research is get to know the right insurance policy you need, traveling insurance, sorry, the right traveling insurance policy you need, get to know the right traveling insurance policy for the region where you're going to, and get to know the right insurance body that covers this. But the good news is we also give insurance too. We also do traveling insurance. So to save us the stress, I will to some extent give us a PDF on this. I do understand there are several PDF materials that are to be shared that have not been shared, but we'll get all of that up and ready, and all of that will be shared. The reason is because we are trying to make it a all-in-one PDF than sending everything a bit for a bit. So I just want to get everything well compressed together to be a single material, so that when you get to pick them up now, you go over all of the sections one after the other without getting that PDF there and this PDF there. So that is actually what we want to do at the time. So we also get to offer traveling insurance at the time. So for most persons who actually want to get insurance cover or who want to do insurance, we offer that as well. But because you participated in this section, we are going to spell out all the regions in the world and the right and the appropriate traveling insurance you need. Because once that is well effected, then you stand a better chance. You can get insurance policy all by yourself if you so wish, or you can still get to buy it from us. Either of the coin. The essence of the knowledge gain is for you to have mastery over your activity, so that you can do what works for you and go for what works for you at every time you deem it necessary to make any form of application. Now, let's talk about, I think that will be all for health insurance. The PDF would speak more because for health insurance is just a straight giant. Health insurance. So a traveling insurance
Oh, we can't hear you again.
that is actually what was get the region you are going to. Do not get insurance or cover less. That will actually impound on your application. That will impound on your application. And that might not actually get to be a good one. So a bit all of these things should be what remembered. So with this now, let's get to move to e-visas. Let's get to move to e-visas. So what do we get to do when it comes to e-visas? Now, when it comes to e-visas, I'll just get to give us a general overview or guide as to what you need to actually get e-visas. Now, talking about e-visas, the first thing that comes to mind is e-visas actually varies with countries, right? It varies with countries because the passport you are holding determines countries with which you can either get free visa entry or countries you can easily get, or countries you'll be needing e-visas. For instance, I'll give us a case study of Seychelles and Nigeria. I just want to believe the larger percentage of the participants in today's section should be Nigerians. So if I'm a Nigerian, what countries in the world among the 6 known continents that I can actually get e-visas? Then let's get to look at those countries. Then I'll get to tell us how to go about the e-visa application and how to go about the e-visas application. So if you're holding a Nigerian passport, there are just a few countries for you where you can actually apply for e-visas. Now, one of these countries are as follows. We are going to take the first one. The first country where a Nigerian individual can actually apply for e-visa. There are not so many countries. In Asia, we have e-visa for India. So let's assume you actually want to apply for India. Maybe you want to go to India either for tourism, for business purposes, or for medical purposes. You can actually get to apply.
The network is really bad.
Naija for you.
Oh, wow.
Well, please let's just be patient. I know it can be annoying. Let's just be patient.
You don't have option.
I think the network is everywhere. It's not even in Nigeria and is experiencing this.
It is
Sorry,
general.
please.
The network is everywhere. It's even better than yesterday. So we should be patient.
Sorry, please. Was this sharing the screen because I couldn't see the list of the country was mentioned.
It was just actually explaining.
Okay, thank you.
He's not sharing screen. He was just explaining.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh,
Yes,
Can
we
you hear
can
me,
hear
please?
you loud and clear.
Please, is this the Relocate to Canada webinar?
eh?
Is this the Complexity Canada webinar?
Yes, yes, yes.
I just want to know
Yes,
because
Madam
the
colleague.
focus is
Yes,
on different countries. I thought the focus would have been on
ma'am. You
Canada.
joined a bit late. Yes, this is it. And you.
Okay, but why is the discussion based on various countries?
So let's
and
just be
not just
patient
Canada?
while he round up what he's doing. It's part of the class, madam.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm just confused. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Don't be, madam. You made the conversation midway. You've been here for over an hour now. So just be patient.
Okay, thanks.
So let's just be patient. Let me see. Hopefully he comes back now.
All right. Madam, please, while we are waiting, please.
Yes, sir.
Don't forget don't forget Mr. Wells to brush the IATA too. So that people can know exactly how to register for IATA, the requirement, and
All right. Let's hope that the network give us a good. The network is
network
just
is
not
a
nice.
global, it's a global wala. It's not only Nigeria. A lot of people used to think it's only Nigeria.
Hello, madam.
Yeah, we are with you. I can hear you.
I want to ask, how do we contact Mr. Wealth after now?
You said?
Contact.
Hello, contact who?
Mr. Wealth after now.
He's asking how we can contact him after now.
You contact him through
Do
your
you hear me, madam?
facilitator. I say you get him through your facilitator.
That is you.
Yes, it depends if I'm your facilitator.
Okay.
Hello, ma.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, please. I want to emphasize what I think the last two speaker before now.
I can hear you.
Yes, it's like some of us we came for different reasons to this platform. Some of us, the message that we were sent was relocating to Canada, and we were told they're going to tell us about different routes we can follow. I realized I've been talking about study. What about those that want to go through social care, through work routes, different things? Because right now, like what the other speaker talked about, it's like a little distraction to. I'm not interested in tour or travel. I'm not a business person. I'm an individual wanting to know the way the best route for me to follow. So I don't know, is he going to lay emphasis on that because I know where it's like people who came from different platforms. So he's going to lay emphasis on that so I know the route that is best for me. I've heard so much about the study route. What about if I want to go through the work routes? What are the available chances? What are the things I need to do?
For whatever it is worth, the title of this training is actually for us to learn. Part of it is learning to be a travel agent if you want to be. I think it's everything rolled in one, and we're supposed to just to gain from it both ways. They're different, like you said, there are different people here for different purposes, and I believe that the focus cannot be on only one, cannot be specific. It can't be on only one aspect of it. It has to cover grounds to be able to accommodate everybody. This is my opinion. I don't think it's
Okay.
I don't think it's a distraction. I don't think it's going off
Sorry,
key.
I also have an opinion for the man that just joined. I also have an opinion for the man that just
I
came to
joined
that
because I wanted to
platform.
learn how to do travel. That's why I joined.
Good
We
evening,
have
man.
different reasons
Yes.
for joining.
Hello.
Hello,
Ma.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, ma.
Hello.
I'm Victoria. I'm Victoria. Hello. Hello. Can you
Hello.
hear me?
Hello, please. I would
We
like
Can
can
to
you
hear
hear
answer
you.
that man's
We can hear
question.
you. Please,
For
can we speak one
yesterday,
after the other?
yes,
Please.
for
Okay.
yesterday,
The
that
last
man
man
has
I
already
will
already
mute
talked.
told
everybody. If you have anything to say,
what
just put up your hand.
Kindly mute everybody. It's becoming rowdy, please.
Yeah. I joined to learn ticketing
I
and
joined to
stuff.
Okay.
let
Can I
I
speak
didn't
now?
join to travel.
I beg, let somebody finish first. Mute everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, we're here. Nobody's
Please,
speaking again.
we
Hello,
should
Mr. Wells. Are
just
you
be
with us
patient
now?
and hear them out.
Are
We
you
should
with
just
us
be
now,
patient
Mr.
and hear them
Wells?
out.
Sure, I am.
It's not a
Yeah,
must.
I
All
am. I
right,
Everybody
am
sir.
will
now.
All right. So
get
please,
what.
Can you
everybody,
guys
can we
hear me
just be
now?
quiet? Yes, Mr. Wells, please unmute yourself and speak. I said earlier, if you have something to say, just put up your hand or you dropped it on the chats. I'm going to attend to that. If you feel like there's something you need and you have not touched, you can just drop it in the chat box. I'm going to see that. Please, let's not make the class rowdy. We are battling with network already. The little time we have, let's use it, please. Thank you. Mr. Wells, please take over.
Can I take the stage?
Yes, Mr. Wells, please take over.
Okay, now sorry for the breach. Now visa-based, I think I joined earlier. I do understand we actually have different areas or possible sections of the traveling industry we actually want to develop mastery around. But I think for most part, what we wanted to learn, there are several sections before now that's actually established knowledge in those areas. So what I do feel at the time is maybe you get to reach out to your different group admins for areas you actually need mastery on. I'm pretty much sure that we have actually covered ample, and lots more of knowledge around those areas. So if you get to reach out to them, there are materials for you to actually consume, and there are still video tapes, so a video recordings or meeting recordings like this that you can actually participate in. So let's get back to the e-visa. Just like I stated earlier, the the number of e-visa countries you can actually go to using a Nigerian passport holder is that you can apply for rather is dependent on your kind of passport. For the Nigerian passport holders, we just look at a few countries with which you can actually apply for e-visas. And we'll be starting first with the Asian continent. So if I'm from Nigeria and I'm holding a Nigerian e-visa, what are some of the countries I can apply for e-visa as a Nigerian passport? Asia. One of them I did say is India. So you can apply for an e-visa for tourism, business, or medical purpose to India. And when we talk about e-visas, the word E there stands for electronic visas. So e-visas are basically some sort of PDF materials that will be sent to your mail or to your mailbox or wherever medium you're using receiving information. And those type of visas don't require you stamping your passport or going for some sort of interviews or for some biometric and facial capturing. All of that is not needed in the case of e-visa. So e-visa, then your application will be examined by a processing officer, and your visa will either be granted or denied. But in most cases, the chances of getting an e-visa is higher than a sticker visa. Now, when I say sticker visa, what sticker visa means, it simply means a visa that is stamped, like AJ, a Canada visiting visa. You make application online on RCC portal, then you schedule an appointment with VFS Center. Then after that, now you now have your passport stamp. That's a sticker. Yeah, and I said Turkey too works by the time now. Turkey is not actually a good one because Turkey has actually removed their e-visa services for Nigerian passport holders. The next you can actually look up for is Sri Lanka. And in the case of Sri Lanka, it's not an
should be broken too.
So the next port of looked at the time is Malaysia. You can get a Malaysia e-visa, which is one of the nations in Asia, by just applying online, paying your visa processing fee, and your visa will be granted. The next is Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan too does the same thing. And I do know some of us also know that you can also do same for United Arab Emirates.
We can't hear, please.
We cannot hear anything from here.
We can't hear anything, please. Oh.
Yeah, the
Hello,
network
madam.
threw him out. Yes, the
Okay.
network threw him out. So just be patient.
Okay.
Maybe one of those people that raised their hand, maybe you call one of them and answer their question while we are waiting for Mr. West.
Okay. Is Doris? Can we hear
Okay,
you,
now
please?
sorry, I had a little bit in my network. So I was trying to say that we'll just get to a practical instance with the United Arab Emirates for those who want to apply for UAE visa. So I'll just get to do a demo and we'll get to see how to go about that. But before then, let's look at the Middle East regions. Where are some of the possible places where you can get e-visa for? One of them is Oman in the Middle East. For those who actually wants to apply for e-visa to Oman, you can get that. You can also get those same for Jordan at the time. Now, for African nations, places where you need an e-visa are countries like Ethiopia, places like Uganda, and Kenya. But at the time now for Kenya, you don't need e-visa to come to Kenya. All you need at the time is just ETA, which is also known as the electronic transit visa authorization. Sorry, the electronic applying for e-visas take a maximum duration of 10 to 15 business days. So there are simple applications you can do at home and you get your visa granted. You can also get an e-visa for South Africa. I think previous classes or sections before this one, we have an e-visa and how to go about them. So you can still get an e-visa for South Africa, and that goes for less than 40,000 Nigerian naira, and it doesn't take up to 8 business days to be approved. Now, still on the Nigerian passport holders, places you can get e-visas for in Europe are Armenia, and you can also get for Georgia. So these are the different places around the world where you can get your e-visa. So how do I get an e-visa? What are the application process? Now note that for every e-visa, it's an online application. So you have to visit the official e-visa website of the intended country you have in mind to visit. So for instance, if I want to apply for UAE, I'm just going an instance now where I'll share my screen and you get to see that. The next is you need to get all your required documents ready. And what are the documents you need? You need a passport photo, you need scanned copy of your data page of your passport, and you also need proof of hotel reservation or accommodation as well as your return flight. Now, the next is you have to get ready to pay the visa processing fee, either with a debit or a credit card. Then once all of those things are done, the next thing to look up for is your approval. So you wait for an approval, and once your visa is approved, you get a PDF copy of your e-visa, and you will now get to come to any of the countries you're applying for. So I will go over now to share my screen and do get to show us how to apply for the UAE visa and all. Then we'll get to do that together. Then after that, maybe we can proceed to other part of the section or get to leave the floor open for questions. So I'm trying to share my screen now. Okay, now one thing to note is to apply for Qatar visa, you don't actually use the official government website. There is actually a website to use. So I'm trying to set up my computer now so that I can actually get to share the screen. Approved. So now to apply for Qatar e-visa, you use a platform called the Hire. So I'll be leaving that on the chat link. I'll be leaving that on the chat board. So if I want to apply for Qatar, for instance, Qatar e-visas, what do I need? What link will I visit? The link to visit is hire.qa. So I'm leaving that behind on the chat board. So you can actually get to click on that and visit. But while you get to do that, let me just get to share my screen so that we get to visit it and see how to sign up. So I don't know if you guys can see my screen at the time. So I'm sharing my screen. I don't know if we can see my screen.
Not yet, sir. We can't see it yet.
No, we can't see your screen, sir.
Not visible. It's very dark.
Is my screen visible
We
now?
can't see it, please.
Not visible.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Okay, let
Okay,
me
I
stop
can
sharing
see
and
it
share
now.
again.
We
It's
can see your
visible now.
screen
It's
now.
visible. It's okay.
Has gone back again.
It's gone up, sir.
Yes, off again.
Okay, I'm resharing now. Can you... Is my screen visible?
No, sir.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
It's visible now.
Visible now.
Sorry.
Okay, it's
Yes.
visible now.
It's visible now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't hear you.
Chuchu. I don't know how you and Chika used to cook. Oh.
Yeah, true.
Hello, Mr. Wells. Can we hear? We can't hear you. I don't seem to hear you.
I guess network has thrown him out again.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes,
We
sir.
are back.
Okay, and can you guys see my screen also?
Yes, we can see.
Yes, sir, we can
Yes,
see.
we can see.
Okay, now where we are now is actually the portal or the web interface or URL or the website where you can actually get to apply for your UAE visa. So let's take, for instance, I actually need a UAE visa. All I need is just to come to aya.qa, just like I shared. So when you do, all you need to do is start the aya journey. So if you can see my mouse here, so I'll click on start the aya journey. So when you click on that now, so you can see flying to Qatar, driving to Qatar, seeking accommodation. So you click flying to Qatar. So when you get to click flying to Qatar, the next thing you get to see is what is your nationality. So I'm holding a Nigerian passport, for instance. So I'll click Nigeria. So now it's asking me, are you a GCC resident? So this is, when we talk about GCC resident, there are a few countries in the Middle East that are actually what, there are a few countries in the Middle East who stand for the GCC.
Please, sir, I
I'm
can't
not
see
talking
your
about the
screen, sir.
GCC. We are talking about the Gulf Cooperation Council. And the countries who form the GCC regions are Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates. So if you're an individual from the GCC countries, then you don't need to apply for these e-visas. But because Nigeria, from the option I listed now, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, Nigeria never got fall in this option. So we need to apply. So all I need to do is to say, no, I'm not from the GCC country. And it's asking, are you a permanent resident or a visa holder of the US, the UK, Canada, Schengen area country? So if you not still say no, then it tells you to confirm. So what you can get at the time is tourist visa A1, so recommended option. These are the informations. The cost of this visa is 100 Qatar riyal, and that is less 50,000 Nigerian naira. So, and you get to pay that upon final approval. So what does it mean? When you submit your application and your application has been approved, that's when you get to pay the equivalent of 100 Qatar riyal in Nigerian naira. Some countries will be exempted from the visa fee, but Nigerians are inclusive. Nigeria, as a Nigerian passport holder, you have to pay. And don't forget that this e-visa is a single entry. What it means, you can't use it more than once. You can only use it to enter UAE just once. If you want something multiple, then you have to either get other forms of visas for this. And it is not refundable and non-transferable. So what it means is you can get a refund after approval, and you can transfer it to a friend or transfer it to a relative or transfer it to some other persons. If you make the application in your own details, you have to come all by yourself. So I'll click apply for A1 visa, which is just, and the validity of this visa is just 1 month, right? So the next thing is it's asking you to sign in. But let's say you don't have an account, all you need to do is for you to sign up. So click here to sign up. So if you don't have account, you click to sign up. So I don't know, can we just use someone's email in the group? On
Please,
email,
we can't
Doris
see your
Godwin.
screen, sir. I can't see your screen, sir. Please.
Can you just zoom your device, please?
Zoom your.
Can you guys see my screen?
Sorry, I can't hear
Zoom
anything.
your
Is it from my
device.
end?
Is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Yes, it's and
Okay, for those who can see my screen, can you just get to zoom your mobile devices? I believe you'll be able to see my screen. Sorry, we can't see my Doris Godson, can you share me your email so that we can okay, someone has given me an email. onelindaforlive@yahoo.com. Okay, let's use that. onelindaforlive@yahoo.com. So all I'll do now, I'm going to copy that and use it to sign up for this application. So one Linda and Linda A, just stand by so that you get to give us some verification keys. So one Linda yahoo.com. So I'll just get to do Control V, send verification code. Okay, I don't think there's a special character. Say, please enter your email address. Okay, let me get
There's
just do
space.
this first.
I think there's
Is there
space between live and
okay,
at
yeah,
Yahoo.
I've
So
seen that. Yeah, I think that is a reason. Great. Now send verification code. So can you just one Linda for live at yahoo.com? Can you just put the verification code on the chat bar?
I'm yet to
Okay,
receive
one
the code.
Linda, can you actually give
I'm
us?
yet to get the code. I'm yet to get a code. I'm not seeing any code yet.
Sorry, kids. You can check your spam mail, Linda.
Okay.
That if you can't find it, check your spam folder, please.
Okay. There's nothing there.
Okay, I don't believe the email is valid. Okay, let's get use another email. Let's use Fadare for us, I guess. Let's try this then. So this is what we're using now. I think we couldn't get a verification code for one Linda for live. So let's get to use another email to see so as to get verification code because we have just few minutes to wrap up this class, and I just want to give a quick response about it. So, Mr. Fadare, if you have gotten your code, can you share that with us, please?
Yes, I will do now.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Fadare, can you share me? Yeah, I can hear you. Share me the OTP code I'll send to you.
909892.
Okay, can you type that, please?
909892. 909892.
Okay, let's verify, see if this code is valid. Okay, now let's choose a new password. So, Fadare, your password is 123. Okay, this is a password we are using. So let's confirm password, Fadare 123. The same password is all be repeating. Now, Fadare, can you tell us your given name?
My given name, okay.
Just tell your given name and your surname so that we can proceed.
Yes. Olumuyiwa is Fadare.
Can you just type it down?
Can you type that, please?
Can you type it on the chat box so that he will just copy it from there?
Okay, I'm typing.
Please, I can't see the screen.
Can you just type that on the chat box?
If you can't see the screen, you can zoom your device, please.
That if you are hearing me.
Yeah, I've gotten it.
Hello?
You are Fadare. Yeah, I can hear you. I've gotten it. So surname is Fadare. Okay. So we have to accept terms. I've read, I wish. Okay, let's take this off. So create.
Please, can I know the password?
So
you said 1, 2, 3.
Okay, this is the password. Can you see it now? Father in capital letter 1, 2, 3, full stop, then /.
Okay, I've seen it.
Okay. So we are creating an account now. So now, Father, a verification code will be sent for the second time so as to enable us login. So can you share the verification code with me again?
I'll check it now, sir.
Okay.
Okay, the second verification code is 857754.
Okay. Okay, let's see if that's correct. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, now, so this is now the portal where you are going to make application for your UAE visa. Now, the first step is the category of the visa you're getting is a tourist visa. Now, choose the purpose of visit. Why do you want to come to the UAE? Now, let's take, for instance, we are coming to the UAE for, let's say, heritage and tourism,
Sorry.
or for
Excuse me, sir.
leisure,
It
friends,
seems you are
whatever. Let's
making
say,
use of that of Qatar, but you have mentioned UAE.
yeah, when we say UAE, UAE is also known as Qatar, right? United Arab. Oh, sorry. My apology.
No, it's different.
That is Dubai.
United Arab Emirates.
That is Dubai. Yeah, that is Dubai. Sorry, Qatar is what my emphasis are. My apologies to that. Qatar is what we are looking at. So the purpose of visit is heritage tourism. Now, do you have the following documents? So the first is you have to upload a photo ID. So when you upload that, you enter your passport number, your date of birth, expiry date, just fill in all those informations. Once you're done with that, now you submit. You get an approval in less than 72 hours. So when your visa is approved, you pay equivalent of 100 Qatar Riyal in Naira, and you get to have your visa approved. Now, let's just do for South Africa. Somebody said, how do I also make application for the South Africa e-visa? I think that will mark the end of our class. So I'll be sharing the link with us. I'll be sharing the link for the South African e-visa also for those who actually want to apply, so that you can actually get here. It looks like it's easy peasy. And the equivalent amount to pay in Naira is less than 40,000 Nigerian Naira if you're applying for the South African e-visa. So it's less the cost, not so expensive. You don't have to incur so much cost to get a visa granted. But don't forget, you have to use which could come in for your dummy ticket, and you have to use a valid hotel reservation, which could also come in for that. So to apply for your South African e-visa, I'm leaving the link now in the chat, so you can click on that maybe after the section, and you'll be able to apply for the South African e-visa all by yourself. So I just shared the link now. Then I'm going to share my screen so that you can see how to get a South African e-visa all by yourself. I'm still waiting for the URL to open so that I can just go ahead and share my screen. I think it's in time. Okay, now, if you can see my screen, the link I just shared with us is a link to apply for the South African e-visa, right? So what are some of the things to note about South African e-visa? The visa is only valid for 90 days. Yeah, if you come into South Africa with the South African e-visa, you're only permitted to stay in South Africa for 90 days. And it's a single entry, not multiple entry. You can't actually use the visa more than once. So it's a single entry visiting visa, as the case seems. So if you can see my screen, the first approach is you have to create your profile, just the way we did for Qatar. So the first thing to do is you have to create your profile. The next is you submit your online form. Then lastly, you upload your documentation. Then lastly, you make your payments. And I said the funds in Naira is less 40,000 Nigerian Naira, the amount to be paid. So what do we do? First, let's create our profile. Now, creating your profile is like you creating an account with the South African government on the official South African government website. So that has been sent. So these are the eligible countries that can get the e-visa. And if I get to scroll down, you'll see Nigeria. So if you're holding a Nigerian passport, you can get this visa, the Nigerian passport. So I'll click OK. Now the next thing to do is you enter your full name, TK. If you don't have a valid passport, you do that. So I will not belabor the point by taking us over the process. If you get to click the link, the first thing to do is to create your profile. Then after creating your profile, then you proceed to submitting your application. Then, but before doing that, do it to verify that your informations are correctly entered. Then you make the payment for the e-visa. So that brings us to a close on the e-visa class and the other sections we looked at. So I will actually leave a gentle appeal to leave the section at this time. For all of us who have questions, I do understand some of our questions have not been answered, but trust the process. We'll get to give explicit answers to all of your questions. So you can leave your questions in the chat, or you can chat any of the group admin and you'll get answers for real. And for some of us who are actually looking at other areas, we still understand you actually want to look outside the part that we have discussed. Just reach out to us. We'll give you explicit guidance on how to go about whatever area that spikes your interest. So all and these are just a few of what we'll be discussing. So without much ado, I'll be soliciting to leave the section now while I bring in Madam Kuzang, the group admin. Thanks once again, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wells. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I think let's drop the questions on the chat box. Let's drop the question while he attends to them. But somebody said he can't get is it visa using the South Africa link. I don't know. I think I saw that pop up. Yes, please. I cannot see the link for the South Africa visa. Please just check on this chat. You will see it. So let's drop our question. Yes, Mr. Well, there was a question somebody asked on the proof of fund. And the question goes that can he use a retirement savings account as proof of fund? Hello, Mr. Wells.
Mr. Wells has gone home.
Mr. Wet said is going, but then you can always use that. Mr. Wet just pick an excuse now.
All right. Okay, all right, no problem. Yes, you can
Can I
check the
help
chat.
you with the question you asked Mr. Wells? Can I help you with the question you asked
Okay,
Mr.
why not?
Wells?
Go ahead. I just wanted him to respond to that, but why not? You can speak.
Okay, I'm a travel consultant. I'm Million Travels. I have a similar experience about what you're asking. The person can use the retirement account if the closing balance so far is up to what the person need for the traveling. For example, if the available fund already, for example, if it's for 5 years that you put in, and the balance you have in your account is like 5 million, and your trip will cost you like 3 million, 4 million, up to that, you can use it. But if it's not up to the amount needed for the trip, you cannot use it, from the experience of the ones I did in the past.
Well, thank you very much for that. I believe the person that asked the question must have gotten this response. I don't know if the person is still in the group or the person has gone. Okay, so please, you drop your questions.
From it now.
Hello?
There's light now.
Hello?
Hi.
Okay, so please, your questions, what we will do is that you just arrange your questions in your group, you drop them. You drop them in the group while we'll provide the answers. The ones that will provide the answers, we will do that. And the ones that will need us to get the resource person to respond to you, it will be attended to. But for some, we'll be able to answer your so that will not keep us here again for long with the network issues, so that we can get the recorded for yesterday and that of today. Send it. Let's all go through it again. Is that okay?
Yes, ma. Ma, please, is the class over?
Drop your
Yes,
questions.
yes, recorded. We need the recorded file of yesterday and
You
from
still want
today.
to have another class tomorrow?
No, don't.
Yes, now let me ask. Do you still want to have another class tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah.
On what?
Hello.
What is the topic that you are going to treat tomorrow?
Now, I would like to say something. Respect to what Madam Doctor asked. What I will only say is that there should be, because the objective of this class is primarily for the people who wants to become an agent. And Mr. Wade, from his wealth of experience, has not covered another route in traveling out of the country. He lay much emphasis on study route, which is by study permit and how to get your visa. We have another route like a work permit, and all those routes, people are eager to know as well. So if peradventure there will be no more class, I want to suggest that there should be a mentoring group, whereby as people get questions, can drop it there and it will be addressed, because this issue is very large, so to say, not a 2 day, 3 days, or 4 days. It has to go along with the experience as you approach it. So there should be a provision for mentoring group, or there should be more class intermittently. Anyhow, that is more pleased, I think you should be able to adopt such an approach. But
All
sincerely,
right, thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
so
All right.
that's my
In view of that, we have a mentoring group for both classes. For those that come in through Gamat or Flourish View, sorry, and for those that came in through Kuzan Global, we have mentoring groups, but it has a fee attached to it, and which we are putting them together to know the next class. And then after this particular class, there is another class that is going to come up for those that just finished this one. You understand? So we have that also. What you will just need to do is that you stay put in the group where you follow to come here. Please mute your mics. So there are mentor groups, yes. So please, and I believe that it will get to us. I will inform Flourish View so that she will repost the link to the mentor class, and we'll also post again for the mentor class for Kuzan Global, so that we'll all join there. So for those that pay the fee, will be added to the mentor group where we keep taking them from one step to the other. The truth is that this class is very vast. When it comes to the travel industry, it's very large. is very, very large. We can't even finish or exhaust what we are supposed to teach you in a year. So that is why we are taking this one after the other. I know you are thirsty for more. You want more. There are other questions you want to just get. You understand? And we can't grab this all at the same time. I saw some people were like, okay, let's touch this country. Let's touch this country. How many countries do we have in the world? So how many can we do in a pace of 2 hours? So please, let's be patient as we keep on taking this one after the other. There's mentor group, which you will get the links soon after the class. You will get the links. And then for the other PDF, for the short courses and all that, he's putting that together. That will be shared to us. But for the other PDF, IATA Bible and the Canada Success Visa is already in your email. And then for the WhatsApp lecture we had, the little introduction to this class we had, the link has also been attached to your certificate in your mail. You can always click and go to our website and get that material, download it anytime, any day. So, and any question you have, just drop it in the group.
Hello.
Or
Yeah.
when you move into the mentor group, you will get more
Is
responses.
this the end
and
of the
then
class?
we will also have the next
Hello,
one.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Who is speaking?
Is this the end of the But it looks as if
Yes,
it
we have
wasn't
come to
dwelling
the
on
end of
Canada.
the
It was talking about
class.
other things.
Do you need
The
more?
idea was to talk about Canada.
Sorry,
Can
who
you
is
hear me? I
asking?
can hear you.
Who is asking?
Hello?
Okay, Madam Unkolinka, are you the one asking?
Yes, I'm the one. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, you joined the
Can you hear
class
me,
very
madam?
late. You joined the class late, and I believe
Yes.
your facilitator told you are going to get recorded lectures, right?
Yeah, I just want to know this question of mine, is it in the recorded lectures? Is it contained in that recorded class?
What question is that? What is your question?
The living caregiver and
Okay, I think
citizenship
that was
in
touched a
Canada.
little yesterday. Yes, and it's also part of what is putting in the PDF that he's going to share. So don't worry about that. It
So
will be
I can
attended
get
to.
all the information I need there. Okay, how about the legal
You
job
will,
in
when you
Canada?
finish going through them and you didn't get all, you can always ask. You can always reach out to your facilitator. He will get the
Okay,
needed
can one still
response
have
to you.
access to Mr. Wells? Can one access
No,
Mr. Wells after this
no, ma.
session?
No, ma. You
So
have
are you
access
saying
to
with that
Mr. Wells
information
through your
oh,
facilitator. You will get access to
but he
Mr.
didn't
Wells
answer.
through.
Okay, one last question, please. With that information in that PDF, can I, on my own, do the application for this living caregiver and citizenship?
Yes, you can. But even if you cannot, we can still guide you. So it's not an issue.
Okay.
That's why I said, yes,
Thank you.
whatever is your question, after going through the materials, you didn't get what you are looking for, still ask your facilitator. Tell him you are still, this is still not an answer, then we will get it across to you.
Yeah,
All
thank
right,
you, man.
thank you.
This is Fatou Olusegun. I have a question. The
It's all right. So thank you
person
very much,
that
everyone, for your patience. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We
And
appreciate you.
please drop in your questions. I will open the group and I will open
You
the
have a
group or
meeting
probably
tomorrow?
make I will make a form. I will make a form and then I will drop it in our groups where you can type in the questions that you have. I think that will help us to be able to attend to you. So with that form, we'll be able to pick out the question, put down the answers, and then drop them for us. I think that will be better. So I will make a form now. Just click on the link and then you write all the questions that you have. Then you will get responses to them. I think that will help us so that everybody's question can be attended to.
Sorry,
All
ma.
right. Thank you
Is
so
it
much.
possible
Yes,
that
ma'am.
we get the recordings? We get the recordings of tonight's lecture.
Yes, sir. We are going to get that. Even that of yesterday. I'm going to drop the two together today, hopefully, if the lights permit me, because my system is already going down. But if not,
The light
tomorrow,
will permit
Sunday,
in
by
Jesus' name.
afternoon, Amen.
Please,
If
Numa,
not,
don't
by
forget the white
Sunday
label.
afternoon, we'll get that. Sir?
The white label is not
Another
touched today.
Okay.
another question
The
Okay.
white
you haven't
label.
answered. Is there going to be class tomorrow? Is there going to be class tomorrow?
No,
You
sir,
haven't
we are
answered that.
done. No, sir, we are done. No class tomorrow.
Done
We are
but
done
not
for
dotted,
now
Abby.
until the next class that is going to come up, where we'll talk about the Schengen visas and then the tour guide and all others. So that is coming up too.
Okay. What about the white label? Will it be taught there?
Okay, white label. The white label, let me just say something about white label. Now, white label is a system that gives you the opportunity to own your own website, your own booking website. So what we do is that the white label gives you an autonomy. You own the website, even though it's not generally yours, but they register you with your company's name, your logo, and your details. So you can issue out ticket with
Okay.
your business name and your company's logo, not necessarily the company. So with that, you get to set up your markup for every ticket. Then you set up your markup 5% or any percent profit you want to get from each ticket that you issue out. And then you can issue both local and international flight tickets. So that is it about the white label. So it was going for 500,000 naira. So I think he was rushing for something and he didn't bring that up. It was going for 500,000 naira. But the last and the previous sessions we've had, he was able to give us a promo price. He stepped it down so low to 150,000. And that is what the previous sets we are able to purchase the white label. We have like 14 people now that they are registering. I think that's one of the questions, I think Miss Fadare, right, that asked previously. Olumuyiwa.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was one of the questions she was asking when we started. Yes, because she's already okay. I think she got a free ticket that day, right?
Yes, it's not a she, it's a man.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry about that. He got a free ticket that day. So his own website will be done for him for free and he's already in the process. So that is this. So that is it about the white label. It's for those that are into ticketing. So that was gotten from our ticketing class that we had. So those that want to go into ticketing, issuing out tickets, so they purchase that white label, they get to register their own website for them with their business name, they issue out tickets with their business name. So that is why we have that mentor group, because we put all those people together. When you are having issues, now those are the people that we give free access to be able to communicate with Mr. Wells directly, because there are some questions that we might not be able to help them at the moment, so we forward it to him. So we give them access to Mr. Wells. Once the registration is done, you can have access to him, because you might be having an issue with booking a ticket and then he can just quickly run it out for you. Yeah, so that is that. So they are the people that have access to him. I don't know if that has answered your question concerning the white label.
Yes, thank you. Yes.